Hello and welcome to my EDFE401 digital story. Meet Mr. Piaget. Mr. Piaget is a recent university graduate who is thrilled to undertake his new role as the Stage 3 Year 5 teacher at Vygotsky Public School. Being Mr. Piaget's first ever class, he was curious about the students he would encounter on his first day. So he asked the Year 4 teacher, Mrs. Amaslow, about the students, but before she could speak, another staff member chuckles in the corner stating, "Good luck with Carl R." This was followed with chimes across the staff room by other teachers with terms such as disruptive, argumentative, and just like his brother. This made Mr. Piaget worried, and he thought he would need to use his training in social equity and sociology sooner than he had thought. Mr. Piaget was conscious of his training from the year prior on deficit discourse and wanted to make sure he wasn't forming any negative opinions on students based on social, economic, or cultural backgrounds, especially before he even met the students. It was the first day, and after learning all the students' names, Mr. Piaget got straight into the first lesson of the day, maths. Mr. Piaget was so excited to see the level the students were up to in their learning and handed out worksheets to assess this. Carl raised his hand and exclaimed, "I don't do maths. Mrs. Maslow and the other teachers just let me play cool maths games on the iPad." Mr. Piaget tried to get Carl to do some work, but he was met with refusal. Mr. Piaget asked the other teachers in the staff room what strategies they used to motivate Carl with his maths work. The teachers mumbled an array of negative responses stating, "His parents don't do anything with him at home. It's better just to focus on the other kids. He's destined to end up the rest of his family. We are lucky even he shows up in half a uniform." This was a prime example of deficit discourse, as the teachers viewed academic performance as the student and family's fault for lacking academic, cultural, and moral resources necessary to succeed. This contradictory to the policy for inclusive education presented by NESA, which states that all students must have the opportunity to access and fully participate in learning, supported by reasonable adjustments and teaching strategies tailored to meet their individual needs. Mr. Piaget was excited to turn this around and find strategies to help Carl access equitable education free from deficit discourse. Mr. Piaget understands that this will not be a quick fix, but he is committed to ensuring that Carl receives the education he deserves. Mr. Piaget understands that every student comes into class with their own set of social, cultural, and economic backgrounds, and these play a crucial role in understanding how their students learn. Mr. Piaget started the process by contacting Carl's mother and arranged an interview with the aim to build a stronger relationship and learn more about Carl. Mr. Piaget asked questions about what his home life was like and what he was interested in. Carl's mother exclaimed that Carl was obsessed with Lego, playing with his brother and making silly little potions in the backyard with mud and sticks. Then it clicked. Mr. Piaget learned about this last year at university. This was Carl's virtual backpack, which carried the knowledge and experiences that he had learnt from the world around him. Even though this was valuable information for Mr. Piaget, he needed to find out how to unlock these, as these were not commonly found in a traditional classroom. Clear to Mr. Piaget that these aspects of Carl's virtual backpack had not been tapped into in his previous schooling, placing Carl in a negative cycle of deficit discourse, continually not obtaining the support he required to achieve success. Mr. Piaget spent the next week building a relationship with Carl and tapping into his virtual school bag to get to know him better. Then once this equipped, he began planning. Mr. Piaget designed an integrated STEM and mathematics lesson looking at water displacement. Students were to work in groups to find 3 objects in the school playground and test how much water is displaced. Students would then determine the volume of the object and record the data. This unit was designed to pique Carl's interest with playing with objects outside and water and encourage him to see maths through a positive lens. The maths lesson, as many before had, started with Carl insisting that he would rather be doing anything other than boring maths work and put his head on the desk. But once Mr. Piaget stated that they would be going outside, he lifted his head in interest. As the rest of the class was pairing up, Carl quickly found his best friends Maria Montessori and Howard Gardner, and they were excited to find the most peculiar object to find the volume of. Once Carl began engaging in the content, he became more and more intrigued and showed great leadership skills amongst his group, and successfully measured the volume of quite a strangely shaped rock. Mr. Piaget was thrilled, and by tapping into Carl's virtual backpack, he was able to take a step in the right direction to turn around the deficit discourse stopping Carl from achieving success. By valuing the unique knowledge and skills he had already possessed, Mr. Piaget observed engagement, accomplishment, and pride, and Carl left the classroom with a giant grin on his face, asking, "Why can't all maths lessons be this fun?"